What's up? In this video, I'm going to go through the exact sales framework and not only elements of my script, but also just the macro framework and how I view sales, closing on one call, what it all looks like and different components, what my thoughts are on different parts of the system. I've pretty much been using this since I started SMMA nearly 2 years ago now, and I want to walk you through exactly what it looks like. So the first thing I do in my sales call framework is the introduction, obviously. Like, this is absolutely crucial. So what I do here is it's literally just before the call and the introduction to the call. So before the call, I have almost a 2 to 3 minute routine before every call, what I do. So essentially, I try and just not get caught up no matter how bad the last call went, no matter how good the last call went, always try and remain neutral. Every call is individual. Every call is its own universe, so to speak. And yeah, it's I try and get this triad in place from Tony Robbins. It's physiology, so I want to be feeling good. I want my language to be flowing well before the call, and I want to be focused. So my pre-call routine, it's very simple. I just do 60 breaths. I become aware of how my body feels. I get involved in my current self-talk. I understand that. And I usually try and seek something to be grateful for or appreciate. This is all 2 to 3 minutes before the call. I set the intentions, and these are the three main things that I try and have in mind before each call. So it's ruthless detachment from the outcome, commitment of getting to the truth, and just to have fun, right? So if I have these things in mind, it's going to be very, very hard for me to attach too much importance to the call and for me to screw it up for whatever reason. So then it comes down to the rapport. So this is all I do on the rapport stage. What rapport is not a chance. It's not a opportunity to talk to the prospect about your favorite football team, about what you both had for breakfast. They don't care. They just want to jump in. It's just a case. It's literally all it is just to make sure they're ready to take the call. They're in a good spot. And a great way to do this is to ask them if they have a clean sheet of paper or something to take notes with. What we're not doing here is saying hey, I just want to make sure you're in a great place to take the call. All this type of stuff. It can sound a bit weird sometimes. A great way to do it is just to ask if they have a clean sheet of paper or something to take notes with. And if they're not in a good area to take the call, they're just going to say, no, oh, sorry, I thought this would just be a casual call. I'm actually in the car right now, driving my daughter to fucking cheerleading or some shit like that. And then you can reschedule if they're not in a good place to actually take the call. But I really like this setup, and it just wastes no time and it gets straight into the frame. So then I set the frame, and this is what it looks like. It's really, really simple. But before you can pause the screen and look at how I say it, it's very, very simple. It just sets the agenda for the call. It allows me to lead right from the very start. And I just follow this. So the frame, it really is just hello, got a clean sheet of paper, is now a good time. What works best / what can I do? Whatever. You set the frame, you go into it. And then it really comes to the information gathering phase. And I've really been learning a lot from Cole Gordon recently. And he talks about the 7 beliefs that a prospect has to have to want to move forward with you. And in your discovery phase, in the information gathering phase, basically the same as the discovery, you want to ask questions that touch on each of these 7 beliefs. So these 7 beliefs, as they're all listed here, you've got desire, money, pain, so the widening of the gap, which is the length of time, the solutions, or what else have they tried, doubt, cost, and support. So you want to touch on all of these 7 aspects, and it's going to be extremely effective if you touch on all of them, and then you can ask specific questions that ignite those emotions in the prospect. So I'll just go through some of the questions that I have. So I set the frame. Before I do anything though, I'm seeking to isolate the problem. So finding out what their biggest challenge is right now, aka what's not working at the level it truly could be, it truly should be, whatever. Finding out their biggest problem right off the start. Some people think this is a little bit straightforward. This is a little bit forward, it's too invasive. But if you're okay with a 5% sales conversion rate, that's absolutely fine. I'm currently aiming to hit 30, 40. So I do things a little bit differently to how most people teach. Background questions. So again, trying to get a good understanding of their business before we then probe deeper into the problem that we first isolated right off the start. So that's just probing. It's referencing that current isolated problem. It's getting them to tell me more. Why do you say that's the biggest challenge? How has that impacted the business? And all of these things are literally designed to touch on those seven beliefs that we talked about. So assessing current efforts, what they're currently doing to get new clients, chunking down, so going even deeper into that problem, going even deeper, like making them feel uncomfortable, digging into it. Like you can see some of the questions we ask here are really designed to get them to sit in the pain as much as possible. So it really goes, like it really reverse engineers what they're doing, and then goes down always to the point where like they say how much they're earning, how much of that was actually profit, and they give the actual realistic answer, because we're not asking them how much money a month you make, because like the prospect is naturally going to lie to you, and by no means is that their fault. But it's like if you say to someone, how much money do you make? How much money do you make a month? Like they're logically going to say their biggest month. They're not going to say like how much they made last month, for example. It's just not like, it's nothing against them. It's just like human nature to almost just, you almost have this number in mind that you always want to say. But by saying like how much money did you earn last month specifically, you get that true number, and then you can drill down into it like we do on the call. So again, getting the number, revenue, profit, how much was profit, etc. How long? So like getting them to expand on the length of the pain. Like this is what creates a lot of that inner discomfort for them. If you're really like dragging out, okay, how long have you actually been in that pain specifically? So we know that it's not a problem that's just lasted for a day or two. Like we're getting them to live not only the pain they're in now, but also the pain they've had for however long they've been struggling with the problem. Widening that gap. So talking about how much it's had an impact on them, in what way has it had an impact on them, how it's impacted other areas of the business, etc. So really just digging into it. This is like everything current situation wise. So current situation is just understanding everything about pain. Goals is understanding everything about desire. So the two key things on the sales call. So again, like digging even deeper into how it affects other areas of their business, like their health, family, etc. So yeah, it really, really goes deep. And like the questions I ask, like they're really not designed to be surface level. If you keep things surface level, you're going to get surface level answers and therefore surface level results. So again, touching on doubt, touching on solution questions. Why now? So how long has this been a problem? This is invoking a sense of urgency on them, what they've tried in the past, if anything. Either they've tried nothing, they've tried a bunch of stuff. Again, like I've got different scenarios where if they give a certain answer to me, then I can go one way. If they give another answer, I can go another way. So sales is never going to be like a perfect A/B test where prospect says this, you can respond with this perfectly. But what you can do is set up frameworks that you can use. So when they give you an answer in that realm, you can respond with a suitable thing. So again, like digging deeper, digging really deep, addressing support. So what we're doing with the information gathering phase and with the discovery phase is just trying to touch on as many things that are going to be the cause for future objections as possible. So support, for example, like again, like how many times do you hear people say, okay, let me just speak to my wife, let me just speak to my business partner. So again, like we're digging into that from the start. I don't really, because of the nature of my niche, I don't really get the spouse, let me go speak to my wife too much. So I've just kept business partner in here, but these same questions will apply for the wife if they want to speak to their spouse. Desired situation, if you are able to figure out X, ultimately what's the goal? Probe into that, get them to tell you why it's important. Tell me more about that. What's the monetary goal? Like, okay, you're telling me 10K a month. It seems like you've thought of that number before. Can I ask why that number specifically? Again, like financial qualifiers, like what's the long-term vision? Asking a personal question, right? So it's really just digging deep into what that actual vision is and just getting below the surface level, like getting deeper than that. Because like they don't just have a number for no reason, right? They don't just want the number. No one wants 10K a month. Like what actually is 10K a month? People just want the lifestyle and the benefits that it brings. And that goes for any goal. So it's digging deeper into that is what's really going to move the needle and get you the insights that you need to close on the call. So then you've got the transition. So it's like, okay, go into the transition, you tie down that you understand them. I feel like we've covered a bit of ground there. Is there anything that you feel like we haven't covered that you feel like I need to know? Again, going deeper into it. This is where I'm going to end the video. I think the discovery call is like the discovery things that I talk about is really is like valuable enough. There's a lot of stuff in here to get through, like a lot of questions, a lot of things that I think you guys can implement and start making a lot of money very quickly if you actually went this deep and you used this process. And not only in the discovery call are you going deep, but you're actually touching on all of these points, which are literally the 7 beliefs there's 8 here, but 7 here. The 7 beliefs that a prospect has to have in order for you to buy. So you can use them and get as much information at that stage to prevent all the objections that are going to come later down the line. So if you want a video where I go into the transition, if I go into the pitch, like again, you can see the sort of process that I use for it here just by looking at the side of the chart here. I'll make myself a little bit smaller so you can see it. But again, like it's very, very simple. Objections, it's just about reducing the smoke screen, finding out what the true objection is, isolating if it's a support objection, if it's a financial based objection, and then bringing it back, handling that specific objection, and then moving them towards the close. Like you've got the pitch, you've got the committing phase, you've got the transition phase, which are all very important. But again, there's going to be a huge amount of leverage you can get just from understanding this information gathering phase. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to reveal to you my pitch because that would kind of be counterintuitive to my intentions. So yeah, going through all of this is interesting, and I think there's definitely a lot of value to be received from a lot of this. Like I've gone through a lot of sales training. I've learned sales from like Charlie Morgan, Sam Ovens, Cole Gordon, a lot of different people, and this is by far the best information that I've come across in terms of consistently closing deals, because not only does it go in depth in the discovery process and it goes into great depth in the pitching process, but it also like covers parts that I haven't really seen before, like transition process. That was always like a weird thing that wasn't really addressed in too much detail from other people that I learned from. And then also the committing phase and different phases like that. So yeah, this is by far the best sales information that I've came across, especially for a 1-call close. For a 2-call close, I'd probably do things slightly differently, but the principles would remain very, very similar, especially when it came to the introduction and the information gathering phase. But that's everything that I have for this video. If you want more information about what we do specifically, there is a link in the description where you can book in a call with me. You can also sign up to my free cold calling guide where I can literally show you how to book 5 to 10 plus meetings a day with the fastest outreach method that I personally use and that I've ever used, which is cold calling. I give you everything you need to know in that document. If you want to book a call with me, again, link in the description. You can check out my business partner as well. And that's everything for the video. Hopefully you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.